2013 BMW X1 no start. The fuel tank just got filled up. It was just driven less than an hour ago, parked, and would not start. Starts and dies, stumbles, cranks and cranks. Cranks won't start. It's pretty annoying. So we'll take a look at some codes and data. Let's see if we have rail pressure. Well, it would appear we have rail pressure. So usually if I see that the fuel tank is full and we've got a no start, it makes me suspect the evap purge system maybe being stuck open and maybe the engine's flooded out with fuel. Seems very odd that it would be running fine and then it's been parked and now it just won't start. So I'm gonna go take a look under the hood and make sure there's nothing loose. I had a problem down here before and I made a quick zip tie repair that seems to have held. Duct. Everything's tight. This part really doesn't matter. Anything after this sensor does matter though. And then the turbocharger's down here. And then it would be coming back out of the turbo. Hopefully nothing's loose back there. I can't really see. It's going to go through the intercooler, come out this side, and then into the intake manifold. Everything seems to be tight. I don't really know where the purge valve is on this engine. I'll have to look that up. And even if I did know where it was, it doesn't look like I'd get to it without removing this cover. So let me see what I can find. Okay, so apparently the purge valve is right there. And I may have to detach it from the throttle body so I can see if that makes any difference. Alternatively, what I'm thinking is that we've recently had an extreme amount of rain over the last 2-3 days, and I'm wondering if after the fuel tank's been filled, was the tank at the fuel station full of water? Because that would be a really bad situation if this, I believe this is a gas direct injected engine. If that high pressure pump is full of water and the rail is full of water and the injectors are full of water, there's going to be damage. There's going to be scoring to the pump because water is a very poor lubricant. The injectors are probably going to be scored also. Even if it's minor, it's inevitably going to cause a failure or some sort of check engine light or a little misfire or some sort of problem later. So I'm really hoping that I don't end up having to take a fuel sample up here at the engine and finding water in the fuel rail. That would be upsetting. So I'll see if I can get this disconnected. I don't think I can do that while I record, so we'll see what happens. And as I suspected, this is kind of being a challenge because there's about a million little pipes back here. And I've decided to disconnect this one from the purge valve so that, you know, if there was any residual fuel able to go through one of these tubes, you know, why would I just disconnect it here, there, or there? There's three places that this one goes. I can just disconnect the vapor line from the fuel tank and start there. But it's a little plastic piece of crap. It's already half broken. So I'm trying to get that off of there carefully. Stand by. Well, that ended up being absolutely impossible. I just can't reach back there and get it, you know. I can't do it. I'm gonna break something. I don't wanna break anything. So I just disconnected it here at the throttle body. I disconnected it here. We'll see if that makes any difference. I'm kind of doubting it. And I'll tell you why the first places I feel like I should go is to disconnect the purge valve and or take a fuel sample, is because this is a new symptom. It was just running and driving less than an hour ago. The fuel tank was just filled and we've had a lot of rain recently, okay? So usually if you have an extended or hard starting or no starting after a refill, you know, you just filled the tank, look at the purge valve, it's probably stuck open. If it's not that, the fact that it starts and stumbles and tries to start, it wants to do something, tells me the ignition system's probably working, tells me that it probably still has compression. I just feel like it's going to end up being fuel or a sensor's not reading correctly on the air management system, or, you know, this engine is also a Valvetronic, so it could be something to do with that. We'll see. Also, when I checked the data earlier, the high pressure rail said it had, what, 1800 psi, so that tells me that the fuel system is getting pressure. The high pressure pump is able to build pressure. And that's just another reason to take a fuel sample at that point, is that, yeah, it may have some sort of liquid in there that's able to be compressed, or not compressed, but, you know, you apply pressure to it and it builds pressure because the pump is good. But if that liquid is not flammable, the engine will not run. You know, if it's water, the engine's not going to run. Yeah, look at that. It's not going to do anything. I already tried holding the gas pedal to the floor also. Yeah. I don't know, I tried to run a little more than that. No. I'll check the codes again. I don't really think that any of these codes will cause a no start, or that they indicate a no start. I think that these codes were probably some symptoms leading up to this. Suspicion of leaks. So we may have some sort of air leak that would possibly cause a no start if there was a large air leak, although the ducts are all good. I haven't really checked them with a pressure smoke test or anything. You know, the intercooler could be blown in half and you wouldn't really know it because it's under panels and all that stuff. You can't really see that without taking things apart. So maybe I should just erase these codes and see what happens. Okay, well, I cleared codes and I'm now starting a new key cycle. I don't think this is going to do me any good, but we'll see. Nope. Okay, well, I'm gonna probably take a fuel sample for the reasons that I stated earlier. Took a short break to warm up and do a little research, and of course, can't get this shield out of here without removing the cowl, the whole cowl. You know, the cabin filters are up here, and then this whole thing has to come out. You know, I suppose you could try to wiggle it out of there, but I don't want to really break anything. There's all sorts of little plastic ducts and hoses and sensors, and you know, none of them are cheap, so I may just have to take this all apart. Okay, so I tried. You can kind of get it out, but not really. And there is the fuel pipes here, they're threaded and they're one-time use, so I don't want to disconnect it there. The quick connect line that I want is way back there, so yes, I do have to take this all out. So I did remove the cabin filter, and to my surprise, it's actually not that bad. So, but I know that this car has a shake in the blower every time the blower's on high. And just as I suspected, there's a piece of debris in the blower wheel, so I'll have to clean that. Looks like there's plenty of cleanup to do in this cowl, and of course the rest of this has to come off. Continuing. Okay, so got that panel out of there. Look at this. This car needed this anyway, so whatever. Now we can get this cover out of the way. Get a better look at the engine. Where's that fuel pipe that I wanted? Still can't quite see it. So I still can't see it or get to it. It's gotta be back here, so it's gotta be that one. See that braided hose? That's probably the one. There it is right there. Way down there. You can kind of see it. Not really. Well, I may be able to get to that. Well, I got the fuel line disconnected and inserted into this high-tech fuel sample testing vessel. Also, this is an AI-generated video and none of this is real, so do not attempt. I'm going to crank the engine for just a few seconds so I can collect a little bit of fuel, and I just want to make sure that it doesn't look cloudy or full of water or just abnormal in any way. This is just a quick and easy test because of the symptoms that make me suspect fuel. A little bit curious if I can just take the key. Yeah, cool. Now let's hope it stops in time. Oh no, it does look contaminated. Sucks to be right. Oh no. Sucks to be right, because that looks like water contamination to me. That's not good. Yep. Well, this is really not good because most likely the high pressure fuel system is going to be damaged from something like this. At a minimum, you're going to need to completely drain this full fuel tank and get some fresh fuel. And this is going to be at the expense of the fuel station, hopefully, if they step up and take care of it. Otherwise, it's going to be at the customer's expense. Here's the thing, is that this is Mrs. Dad's garage's car. So this is actually going to be at my expense until I get them to take care of it. Okay, so we've confirmed heavily contaminated fuel. The clue was that the high pressure pump had pressure on the scan tool, meaning its chamber was full of liquid and it was able to build that high pressure. It's just that the liquid is not flammable. It's not flammable enough. When I sniff it, it doesn't smell like, you know, there's not a heavy smell of gasoline. Yeah, it's kind of, you know, it has a little bit of gasoline smell, but it's mostly watery. It's pretty watery. So anyways, the question is, Am I going to give them an estimate and do the repairs myself, and they're going to pay me to do it? Or am I going to have them tow it to the BMW dealer and have them do all the repairs for me? Because I don't really have the time to mess with this, nor do I care to mess with this at the moment. And I'll do it, but I would probably have to buy a bunch of tools to be able to do it, and that's kind of inconvenient. So to be continued on this one.